There's so many news in the world right now, and let's discuss one of them and get back to the memes. Hey, how are you doing? I hope you're doing great. This is LuckyOne over here. It turns out that Ukraine tried to attack Russia to bomb Belarus. It was bombing Lugansk and Donetsk while developing a nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons. Yes, it bred pigeons, the killers of Russians. Course. Produced military drugs, set up the whole world against Russia. In 2014, in Ukraine, people were eating children, and Ukraine, at the same time, didn't attack itself, and attacked itself at the same time. They did, but they kind of didn't. This is what you hear when you hear the news from Russia. When you're turning on the TV, one day they're telling you this, the second day they're telling you the different thing. Now they're saying that in Ukraine, who are we fighting with? Is it Nazi?
Yes.
No, right now they're not saying that. This is what they're saying. We are fighting
Satan
himself. Satan himself. How about that? Yes. Right now, by the opinion of the Russian government, Ukrainians are Satanists, they are Nazis, and they're whatever bad thing that you can... Because... remember, demonizing your enemy makes you want to kill your enemy even more. And there's nothing wrong about that because you're thinking like, by the Bible, it says, do not kill. But in case you demonize your enemy, then you can get, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. If you're not a bot, and if you have at least 7 IQ, listening to all of that is going to create questions in your head. You're going to be like, there's something wrong. People who are telling me the alleged truth are not actually being true to me, right? You have to have questions if someone is telling you two completely opposite things in like 2 or 3 days or maybe in a couple of weeks. You're like, I smell to all of that's happening in Russia right now. They're fighting Satanists, okay. But right now they're talking about fighting mosquitoes. Like fighting birds weren't enough. Now we have fighting mosquitoes. Wow! Did not convince the UN Security Council. Russia is experiencing more and more problems with the supply of its group in Ukraine, according to the Western Intelligence Agency, which means they have less weaponry supplied to the guys that are on captured Ukrainian territories. Despite the absence of serious changes on the fronts, the authorities of Kherson persistently urge the population to leave the right bank of Dnieper. Exactly. There's nothing wrong. We're not... Ukrainian army is... it's very far. Don't worry. This is what they're saying to people who live in Kherson. Can you believe it? But they're like, despite of the fact that they're far, you have to leave. And people are like, I don't want to leave my home. This is my home, you know? And they're like, you have to leave. Because we, they're not coming. There's no threat. There's no threat. But you gotta leave. Do I have to tell you anything? Like, fighting mosquitoes. Bro, everyone who believes it, you're a fucking bot. I just can't understand. How is that possible? If someone, since my childhood, is telling me one thing and then changes it, I would definitely have questions. Oh, we're fighting for this. We're fighting for that. We're doing this. We're doing... And now you're telling me two completely opposite things. Why does it happen? I want to protect my country. Just tell me, who am I protecting it from? Because I don't see a threat over here. This is what you have to say. And not like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna send my son. My son has to die. My son has to die. The memes. Of course. The meme Reddit, the Ukrainian meme Reddit is going through really good. And yeah, I just wanted to share it with you in case you have some information, you speak English, you read that on your own, and you're like, okay. But I can tell you a little bit more of that in case you don't understand some jokes or maybe something like that. Let's go. As Sheldon would say, it's funny because it's true. Hey, you want to hear a joke? Yeah, sure. Putin. That is so true. Never I would have imagined to one day agree with him in anything. Xi warns Putin nuclear weapons in Ukraine is a red line. So much for a no-limit friendship. You're a bad guy, but it doesn't mean you're a bad guy. The nuclear weapon it's not going to be good for anybody. You know what they're saying? Again, demonizing your enemy. You know what they're saying is when you die, you go to hell. When I die, I go to heaven. Because like you just die. You just fucking die. There's nothing saint about it. But I die for my country. This is what they're saying. And they're saying like, If there's going to be a nuclear weapon and maybe some of us are going to die, then it's totally fine because we're going to heaven. Mosquito morning star. Lucifer, hello, satanic mosquito. Again, yes, in case you don't know, Ukraine has mosquitoes that are going to kill you. Yes, we talked to them. We're like, listen here, buddy. So, what you're gonna do is you can fly there. You're gonna bring them the plague, okay? You're gonna bring them the plague and they all die, okay? And the mosquitoes are like, this is what they do. As long as they can carry. We don't abandon our own. No machine left behind. I don't even have the energy to laugh at this. Because they stole so many of those things. Why? You don't have that at home? I mean, I know you don't have that at home, but why do you want to steal it? Don't you want to, like, make the money for it? Huh? Combat! The whole Reddit's just gonna be about mosquitoes because how absurd that is. 5 stages of grief. Threatening to end the grain deal. In case you don't know what the grain deal is. Russia is controlling the path in Black Sea where the grains from Ukraine are going to different countries. And there are charts of like how much is going where. Ukraine is a big player of crops in the international market. And the Russia says that we're not going to touch anything about the grain deals. We're not going to touch that because they control the area. So they can allegedly, like, they can shoot the crops and people are going to starve to death. Wow. Famine is going to be a new problem in the world. How about that? This is what Putin says. Threatening to end the grain deal. Withdrawal from the grain deal. Yes, they... First of all, they said we withdraw, and then they said we're just suspending our participation. Only suspending the participation. Asking for safety guarantees in the Black Sea Fleet. Agreed to rejoin the Black Sea Grain Pact. This is so true because that's everything that's happening. So why are they asking for safety guarantees? So they open the pathway for the grain ships to go through, but there were not only the grain ships that got through, there were combat drones that shot the ships that were in the Black Sea of the Russian army. And now the Russian army is like, but that's terrorism. We opened the path for your grains, but you're bombing our ships. What Russian soldiers do, what Putin says they will do, what Russian TV says they do, what the world knows they, oh my God, what their families hope they do, what Vatniks think they do, and what they really do. Yeah, kind of in a nutshell. Yeah, exactly. That's what's happening. Oh, that's fun. Oh, damn. Boom, boom, boom. Sorry. Most incredible statements.
А кто это? Извините, ваши сволочи говорили, что русские должны быть загнаны в болото. Наша задача уничтожить русскую культуру, переписать Какая справедливость? 8 лет.
So the translation below that you can see, obviously, if you don't speak Russian, so you need the translation. Someone who's very smart, because you can hear the words that he's saying, the words that don't have translation, like Donbass, for example, or Russia. And those words put in the text real good, but that's not what he says. Radio guided mosquitoes carrying diseases. Halloween treats with hidden razor blades. Let me go on. Explosive toilets prove resin in their wives' asses. It's not what he says. What he says right there is how Ukraine was trying to suppress Russian language and Russian culture. So he's basically saying that Ukraine did very bad things with the Russian language. No one can speak Russian language. Although, again, I'm going to repeat myself for the 100th time. I speak Russian language better than I speak Ukrainian because the Ukrainian language was actually suppressed in the big part of Ukraine. I even remember like coming to school and asking like, why do we have to speak Ukrainian if we have Russian language? And my teachers were fucking mad about that. They were like, how can you say that? But when I was little, I didn't understand that sovereignty holds to the big fact, like the language, for example. The language disappears. It's much easier to tell you like, hey, it's not a real country that you're having, right? But we have our own language. We speak it, and we're learning it. Most of the people that spoke Russian before, they're learning it. Me too. I'm kind of speaking Ukrainian at home when I can. Sometimes I forget the words, but you can't blame because I didn't speak it for a very long time. If there's something strange in your neighborhood, who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters, yeah. What's the... Oh, it's Ukrainian Ghostbusters. Oh, hell yeah. Russian soldiers in winter. Only 3 more days till I get Kiev. Fucking hell. They're still on their TV. They're saying,
we didn't have any intention to capture Kiev in like 3 days.
no, you did. We know all of your plans. You wanted to do it. You failed. And you have no courtesy to just say, we failed. We're sorry. We're not going to do that again. Russians, when anything goes beyond their expectations. Russia seeing a black man in Ukraine. Confused scream. NATO? We have many black men and women in Ukraine, which is totally fine. We live in peace, but not with Russian. Putin introduces new hypersonic cruise missile, Bigovich Dickovich. Bigovich Dickovich, I can see through your cleverly constructed ruse. Here goes the poos. That cat came to drink milk and fight. He's already out of— oh, holy shit, look at his eyes. The meme returns. Kiev carried out terrorist attack on Black Sea Fleet in Sevastopol. A terrorist attack by Kiev on Russia. A terrorist attack. Who's accusing who? I don't have to tell you that this is wrong. Are you telling me you lost more ships against a country with no navy? I mean, we have navy, but it's just not that big. It's just like 2 ships, I guess. Anglo-Saxon meme about the Russian Black Sea flotilla. Your friends Anglo-Saxon and you attack Sebastopol, a tale about cope. Haha, hail Satan. Caving combat mosquitoes. Nothing but a big bunch of crybaby hypocrites. Russia launches daily suicide drone attack against civilian targets and civilian infrastructure. That is very true. What a serious blow to enemy moral, logistic, and infrastructure. They all are legitimate targets. They're not. If you're trying to leave people without water and electricity, you're fighting. You remember, this is war. You meant to fight people who you meant to fight, who are an army. If you're fighting someone who's civilian who cannot answer, it's like it's bullying. When you're bigger than someone and you bully them because they can't answer, bully someone of your own size, bro. Ukraine once launches a drone attack against Russian Black Sea naval fleet. How dare you? We demand a UN Security Council meeting. Ukraine's terrorist attack must be stopped. This is real. Do you understand? Like, I'm sitting here and laughing at this. This is real. This is the world that we live in. I don't think people just understand that. This Reddit is super good. This is something that I can review all the time. It's like every day. And the post there, the link is down below if you want to check it out for yourself. Thank you very much for being here with me. Over here, you can see my vlog video, the travel video. That was completely insane. That was so good. And over here, you can see the videos of me and Andrew laughing at stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Love you, kiss you, miss you. Bye.